Testing 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? Testing 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? Because I don't think you could hear me in the beginning. Can you all hear me on the stage? You can hear me on the stage. Okay. So the stage can hear me. I was doing some extra-ish. So good. Welcome, everybody. I am Latanya Taylor, affectionately known as the Rev Coach, the Juicy Spirit Mama, the Priestess of Purpose, Pleasure, Passion, and Profits. And I want you to hear my intro again before we get started because it sets the tone. It gives us a break. But listen, today, this allows you to do is go grab your strong friend. Go grab your go-to person. Go grab somebody that you love and invite them to this conversation because we have too many Black women who are suffering in silence. Melanated women, brown women of all types who are suffering in silence. And so I want to do two things. One, open the show. Okay, well, never mind. You can't hear her. She did. So we'll work it out. Hey y'all. And so we also have folks watching on Instagram, but I'm glad the reason why this is important is I heard it so clearly after talking to so many different women in private sessions, sidebars, SOSs, if you will. And, I do a show on IVTV called Planning with the Planets. And I'd been really preparing so many of them and those who are in rites of passage right now. I have been preparing them saying, listen, this Piscean energy, this eclipse is very significant to our emotions. And sure enough, I have heard stories that are somewhat unbelievable. Just like what's happening in the culture, there are things that are happening in our lives. And what I know, two things for certain, one thing for sure, is that Black women, melanated women who are the leaders, who are single mothers, who are quote unquote alpha women, which was made up by a man, but nevertheless, the consciousness is here of alpha females are the ones who suffer in silence the most. And so this is a community show. It's a community cry, if you will, to those of you who are, if you are that person, but also if you know that person. I want you to hear from other sisters, sisters who are doing their work, right? And not in just a monetized, showy way, right? A lot of people are into this personal development for so many reasons that are rooted in sales and appearances. And so I try to bring women in front of you who have a track record and who lead with their heart and are feminine leaders. And so they represent all walks of life. One of the things that I wanted to say when we talk about feminine leadership, there is a woman that's not often times represented in our circles. And she is the woman that is just as conscious, just as spiritually activated, but she cloaks in and out of corporate America, in your in some of your executive or artistic industries. Even you would never know, because oftentimes we only see the sister that has the locks and wears the crystals and that type of thing. And you would never know that these are women that are activated on many levels.
And in order to have access to them and to the work that they've done, they've learned how to carry the assignment and be able to move or be a bridge. And so I want to introduce some of these sisters to you. Some of them you know and love, and some of them you are meeting for the very first time. And so hopefully if you're watching from their page, you will also just send them some love in the comments as well. So the first person, and I might get some of these titles a little messed up today. Everybody, I could do one big title based off of what I read before I came in here. So I'll acknowledge that, because all of these women will honor this, because it was an ancestral pull that I did to ask what energy was governing this conversation, the rites of passage that I'm working with, like the women who are being big sisters to the rites of passage. And what came up last night was the midwife. The midwife. But who midwives for the midwives? So this is the question that we're going to answer. So I want to bring to the stage, some of you, of course, know Tanya Freeman. Let me see if I got you in here. Can you see her? Can you see her? Or do I need to do some manipulations over here with the frame? I want to make sure you can see her. Okay. Okay, good. You can see her. All right, that was me. That's me. So I want you all to meet Tanya Freeman, who is a native New Orleanian. Some of you all might see her in some of my pictures, because we found out all these years of knowing each other that we're family. And so she really is a wellness professional, right? And in every way, a poet, a songstress. I'm adding this. She didn't tell me to say any of this, but she says holistic healer, co-founder of House of Ibeji. Okay. And so next I want to bring to you another sister of power, a powerhouse in the room. You see her as Lady Jacera, but hey, we gotta call it thing what it is. It's gonna be Dr. Jacera in just a few minutes. So, who is a mental health professional, wellness coach as well, right? Yes, and minister, elder. See, I'll never forget. All right. So you have a lot of women who are walking amongst you that you don't even know. Some of you don't know the work that they've done, the transitions that they've gone through. And then we have let me get this right, strategic
peak performance strategist.
Is your mic on? Let me hear you.
Can you hear me?
Oh no, I cannot hear you. I can't hear you. Y'all can hear her. I can't hear her.
Yeah, I can hear.
You all hear Amina Carter, y'all introducing in the comments. Can you all hear her? I think I did something to the sound some kind of way. Let me make sure. Okay. They can hear you.
Okay,
so I can't hear you, so I'll hush. You say your title properly. Strategic
peak performance strategist.
Got it. Okay, and so I'm going to fix this sound some kind of way. The audience can hear me, but I can hear no one on the stage. So this is going to be very interesting. And so next, I'm going to tickle your eyes a little bit, because you might think that you are seeing twice or seeing double, and you are. So I want you to see the other co-founder of House of Ibeji. So they are working together in partnership. Who is also the same that I said about Tanya is Tanya Freeman, who is a nurse, a wellness professional, and songstress and artist, and all of these wonderful things. She is also joining the conversation today. And certainly last but not least, we were not able to add a picture. Oh, she added a picture. Okay. And this is my dear sister who will not be able to be on camera. because those of you who have been walking with me remember when I could not be on camera. So she is in a process, and therefore you will understand that she is absolutely representing ancestral intelligence here today. So you know her and love her as Sensei Sabira, but right now I'm going to try to get this word together, so I might need you to put the phonetics in the comments for me, my sister. Tuwasa, I think it is,
yes,
right?
Tuwasa, yes.
So
Tuwasa.
this is what we'll call her, and I want to do it justice in our comments. So listen, I have been hearing from women who have been going through so many different things. Like, some feel, I've been hearing from, sisters saying that they are under spiritual attack. I've heard from women who are dealing with their children under spiritual attack. Of course, there are so many who, there are different grades of wellness and mental health issues that many women are realizing have been undiagnosed. Now, from me, I see it from an astrological standpoint because Chiron is in Aries. Aries represents the self. And so many of us who are in a certain age stage, some of us, even those of us who've done the work, have had to revisit or had things come up this year with the solar eclipse, Aries and Chiron, moving into the age of Aquarius, Pluto stationing direct in Aquarius, then moving into now retrograde in Capricorn. It's like we keep on revisiting, and we have 5 planets that are in retrograde right now. I remember last year, I'll go first, right? Because I want you all to understand, just because you wear a title, just because you do any kind of work, doesn't mean you're exempt. But last year, I went through a period where I caught myself because I had tools. And I was able to notice myself slipping into a depression because of months of holding on to a disappointment in business where I was treated unfairly, and I also didn't get paid for work that I put in. And so it was, not only was it a betrayal, but it was a scam, and it was working with influencers. And in my mind, I thought that I could this was going to be an amazing breakthrough experience for you to be all the things I told myself. And then when it didn't happen, and the questions that I had to ask, and the things that I had to go into, it was only because somebody came and seen about me. Because I know I've been on prayer calls and in suffering, in silence with metaphysicians and teachers, and they didn't know what was going on with me. And so I want to talk about, sisters, the balance of asking for help, right? And then somebody coming about to see about your strong friend. So y'all know that's an old gospel song. Come see about me. That's what Kumbaya is. The song Kumbaya is, right? When we're calling in and conjuring spirit, it's a call. But we've forgotten in our feminine intelligence how to do that. So I want to go in decency and order. Who's the oldest person here? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Are you really?
No, so who let's go with Amina, because this is the first time we've been on the stage together, and then I will jump off and jump back on to see if that does something to the sound. So go ahead, Amina.
Thank you. There's so much you said in the introduction and now, but the first thing that popped up for me was really examining the word strong in front of friend. I think I'm really, really big on the antics of semantics. We do a lot of wordplay, and it's really important that the words that we use that create the environment that we thrive or don't in. And I feel like strong in and of itself in front of friend is isolating. It removes us from some of the sisterhood. It keeps us in a space where people can't access us because people think we're okay. So I just want to check on my friends. I want to check on my sisters. I want to be of support, and I want us to remove some of these titles that we've become accustomed and cultured and conditioned into, because actually we thought they were good titles that positioned us better, only now realizing that we are somewhat a lot of ways doing a disservice to ourselves, placing certain things in front because it removes us from the care and the love that we so want in the process of showing up for others. We can't hear you now, Sister Latanya. Oh, you said keep going.
You said, looks like she's saying, Sarah. Okay. Hey, everybody. So I'm just Sarah, Lady J, and
And go to the next person.
I'll go to the next person.
After you. No, after you, Sister Jackie.
Oh, after me. Okay. All right. Okay. I just want to make sure. All right. First of all, I am so excited to be here, and this is such an honor. Women, Black women in particular, we need this. And I love what my sister just said about removing the word strong and how it separates and isolates us. In the therapeutic space and in the healing space, one of my goals is to humanize just being a woman and what it's like to just be a simple sister, a woman without all of the other titles, because women are suffering in silence, particularly Black women as it pertains to depression, anxiety. I'm seeing it all the time in my space, in the therapeutic space. I call the women that I serve, I call her Jashelle. And to me, she's a combination of Jill Scott and Michelle Obama, who knows how to poise herself, carry herself. She has a little swag to her, but she also typically will not be as vocal about what she's struggling with secretly. So she needs a safe space. And so I feel called to creating those spaces. And so I'm so excited that we're talking about this because as Rev Latanya said, we're suffering. I know what it's like to suffer from depression and to do it silently because I didn't feel like I had anybody that I can trust in the church. Our systems are wired to be quiet. Our systems are wired not to say what we really need to say about what's going on. So I'm happy that this challenge is being put out there today.
Awesome. I can hear you all now. We fixed it. Had to adjust some settings. That's a word right there. So Tanya, have you had a chance to share just from your perspective the balance?
No, I haven't, but I'm happy to be here. Thanks so much for the invitation. I'm Tanya Freeman Brown, and like my sisters Sarah and Amina said, these titles, when you asked me what my title was, I just got discombobulated. I had to go to Chat GPT and put in all of the things that I do to come up with one holistic title. I don't prefer the titles because they are limiting, like my sister said. And it puts this pressure on you to have to show up in with that face or that with that title. And there's a lot of expectations with that. So, which is all good. However, when it messes with your own equilibrium about yourself at the root level, because we have to go out and support and we have to shine and we have to present a certain way. For me, it shows up the strong person as complete breakdown. And I have been there before, just from life and circumstances. And before I got to this call, I was actually on another call in training to sit on the friendship bench, which is a national and international mental health cohort that is now being preparing to roll out in New Orleans to help people sit on the bench. It started in Zimbabwe, and it as a result of a Dr. Chabanda, who created the friendship bench so that the grandmothers could sit on the bench to talk to people who were going through, they were blue or they were going through depression, and to empower them, right, to make choices for them based upon owning their stuff. And that's a check-in. You know, we check in with people, and I that's what I'm doing, and I need to check in with y'all.
Okay. All right. Okay, so we say, and I pass to my sister usually whenever we're praying or doing something sacred. So we're just gonna pass to your sister, my sister, our sister, Sonia Freeman.
Good afternoon, ladies. Thank you so much, Latanya, for offering me and extending me the invitation to communicate, convene, and and just come together to talk about this very important subject conversation. I am a registered nurse, and we as healthcare providers, we take on so many of the burdens of our patients that we don't take care of ourselves. And I'm going to be the first to admit to that. And I suffer in silence sometimes. I may not physically cry, but I cry within. And I know that's not healthy. And I also know what to do. And so I practice self care and praying for myself. But then I also realize that I need to reach out to my sister circle for help and support. So I'm really grateful for this opportunity that Latanya has presented so that we can help ourselves as we help others.
Very nice. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. And so my sister passing to my sister Tawasa. Did I say it right?
Twaza.
Twasa. All right, sister, you're up. And you've heard everything. I know you can bring it.
Yes.
You are so full of that ancestral medicine. It's going to be glorious.
Oh wow. I'm humbled to be here. I'm grateful to be here. It's a powerful space and a powerful conversation for sure. What I think is so interesting is that as an initiate, going through this ancestral process, I have no name anymore. So I've given up my identity in it's a year process to walk into who my ancestors know me to be, who I agreed to be when I came here. And I'm having the opportunity to shed all of the identities that were put on me coming out the chute. And when I tell you how liberating it is to be no one, to allow no one to put anything on me, to not have to live up to anybody's expectations because I'm in the mystery. And as a Black woman, to be able to absolutely surrender to the Blackness, the nothingness, the everythingness, and know that I am literally nothing and everything.
Oh,
and
yes.
to become the hollow bones so that whatever needs to come through can come through. And I don't even need to think about it before I say it. I can just be quiet and I let it emerge from me. This is the greatest gift I've ever given myself, is to remove myself from all of society and just literally sit here on a mat by myself with my ancestors, with the God of my understanding, and to go through the extreme sadness of shedding all that has been put on me for 54 years and to let it all go. There's no words.
Oh, that's beautiful. And of course I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I really get it. And it is, that Nicodemus said in the Bible, shall I re-enter into my mother's womb and be born again? And
Mm.
many of us get the crescendo in church, but nobody really answers fully, right? And so when
Mm.
you take that journey, you answer, because you re-enter into a womb that many of us as women have not known. We haven't known rites of passage. We haven't known celebratory rituals that help us to release every stage of our phase of our womanhood. In every stage, there's so many women who are under the sound of our voice right now, who have, through religion, come on, Sarah, talk to us, right? Have been made to think that that's witchcraft, or that's something that you shouldn't have to do, right? When it comes to, from even mincy, right? When the woman, like even the woman and what she does with her childbirth. And so now, if depending on what we have gone through in our life and around our life, all of these stages that have been uncelebrated. And by the time you get to a point where all of this is going on in the world and you're empathic, you think that you are having a mental health breakdown. And I want to propose to some of you, that, especially those of you who are the chosen ones, the black sheep, aka the black sheep, right? Those of you who are the weirdos, the different ones, aka the ones who are the sensitive soul, aka the ones who are your ancestors' wildest dream, aka the one. This is who I'm talking to today, right? Because
Mm.
a lot of us forget about us. And so I wanted to transition a little bit on that. Thank you so much for bringing that into the room, because we can go higher, right? Like right from here. Amina, tell me a little bit about, I saw you having a reaction to that. Tell us why.
Well, there's so many things I'm having a reaction to, because this is such a rich, full conversation and there's so much content here. But one of the things in the beginning, you asked a question, is like, who will midwife for the midwives?
Mm-hmm.
And the birthing and rebirthing process over and over and over again unto ourselves is
Yes.
so big. And this is why the part of language is so important in terms of talking about breaking through, breaking open. A lot, if you think about commercials that start to preface the impact of the pill before you take it, causes social anxiety, you may die, may cause your brain to explode. Every focus is, there are side effects to things. Most things deal with root causes, and we're not dealing, I mean, most things deal with symptoms and not root causes. And
Mm-hmm.
so one of the things about the using the proper language for me, really is creating the environment for our healing, right? And so one of being midwives to one another, we run away from the things that hurt. And so what this sister, I want to be integral, Twasa, uh,
Yes.
speaking of, and is a huge rebirth, whether you're doing it through an initiation process, if you are in a program, it is so very important that we change the language so that we understand differently about what it is we're going through. If I tell you that pain is bad and you associate change and transformation with pain, you're not going to move towards your own healing. If
Yes.
you associate having to do something uncomfortable and with, you're not going to do it. And so I think we've created a society, a culture of people who do not want to be uncomfortable. So we lean into familiar pains. We stay in uncomfortable situations because the pain of change seems better than the pain of doing something different. So, there's so much more. I don't, I want to be integral in terms of giving space for other conversation, because there's so many layers to this onion.
Yes, it definitely is layers, and we want to touch every woman where she is, because some of us are talking to the woman who has never done any type of rites of passage, as Tuasa is speaking of, and that I'm referring to. There's some of you all who have done your own rituals, right?
Mm.
I called you out, Dr. Jacera. I called you out a little bit, but talk to that woman who is the one who's suffering in silence, and she knows that there's something more, but she's been afraid for dot dot dot.
Yeah, absolutely. Once again, this is just wonderful. One of the things that immediately came up for me that I see often is giving ourselves permission to evolve in our identity. You mentioned about the different phases in womanhood, and with each phase, who we are and how we show up changes and evolves. But when we're not given space and permission to normalize that, to be okay with that, to say, hey, I'm feeling what I'm feeling, it really creates a barrier in terms of being healed. It's difficult to get that healing. So, to that woman who a lot of times has not been given a space to use her voice. It's as small as you being able to articulate what it is that you want, that you've not ever been able to articulate. Something as small as having choosing to go to bed early and not see about everybody else. Something that small. And often that's exactly where I start with women who don't know where to start. It's really taking it a little step at a time and just asking, have you explored what you want? Do you even know? If you don't, let's talk about it. Let's normalize where you are. And that's really where it starts, because um, if you can't deal with it on small levels, when it comes to these bigger things, these bigger manifestations, you're likely not to manifest fully. A lot of women, a lot of Black women and women of color are wired to be wives, to be mothers. And those are the only two roles they know. So even when I ask them these questions, they're stuck. Their minds go immediately to these roles. And so it's having to deconstruct that. What do you look like outside of being a wife or someone's mother? Who are you? Um, and once again, creating space for that. And so this is so layered because it's societal, it's religion. Religion says I have to show up X, Y, and Z. Well, do you really? And not even having a question, not even being posed the question, do you really have to believe that? Or do you really have to think like that? That's even new to a lot of women to even hear. So that's where I start. That's exactly where I start with women who come into the space.
Okay. All right. So why do we run from your, just from a clinical point of view? Why do so many Black women fight their healing? You know how Iyanla says on Fix My Life, I won't fight you for your healing. Why do we fight others when we want to be healed? Like, we run, we disappear, we won't show up, we stop responding, we won't say anything. So this is where I know, because like I'm the kind of Mama Latanya that'll come and see about you, right? I'm gonna put an APB out on you, right? But because I had older women who groomed in me in this work of transformation before it was trending, and you don't just disappear from the community. Now these young girls, that they just matriculating through in some of these big churches. But why have you ever thought about this, or anybody can answer this question? Why do we run and shut down so easily when it comes to staying present and working our way through? Anybody can take it. And in the comments as well. Those of you in the comments, go ahead.
I like to say, from my perspective, is being seen and the fear of being seen because of what Karen McCoy said, the belief systems. Because the belief systems have us pretending and acting like who we really aren't, because we don't even know who we are. So it's just a fear of not meeting the expectations based on those belief systems, those mental constructs that have in generational constructs that have been solidified. Not even talking about the trauma, but our trauma, when our work comes to us and that mirror comes before you, that trauma going to come up. And those belief systems and those thought processes and the mindset, even if you're unaware of it, it'll show up. Which for me as a runner, because I'm a runner, and you know this.
Until today, come on now. Like, are we really affirming that, friend?
No, we're not affirming it. I was at
Okay.
one time
All
was
right.
a runner.
All right.
Okay.
I mean, that's for real. This is what friends will do. If you don't have friends that won't help you make that kind of adjustment and let you speak over your life any old kind of way, get you some new friends, y'all.
So
go ahead.
as Amina said, is language, right? And I'm still cultivating and perfecting my language.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm speaking from the perspective of where I was.
Well, you're not by yourself, because guess what? It's somebody else said, ditto. I'm a runner.
So people don't want to be seen.
I was going to add to that, if I may, that you mentioned trauma, and I think running is a trauma response.
Yes.
Right? That this is the front, and it asks of us, do we have the capacity to stretch and expand in the way that we're being called? Do we have the ability to push through, to break through those belief systems, those ideologies, these conditionings that we've learned? Can I do this? Am I enough? Will people see me if I change? Right? Am I worthy of this? Right? There's so many things that may come into play, especially when you're called to the front. We are being called to the front. Peeling these layers back of these languages that we've leaned into that are creating so many different issues, from dis-ease in our lives and in our worlds, from in our bodies to our belief systems. This is the work that we are in, and the sisterhood is one of the balms, but we got to fix that too, because we don't know and believe that sisterhood is all the time. There are the women that, I don't do women, I don't do this. And I am literally sister, we're talking about the language. You are professing over your life a divine protection that is passed down through generations, the mothers, the griots, the feet that we sat at to get the information, the bench that we would come to sit with the grandmothers to get the information. Let's change the language, lean into the sisterhood, break open so that we can break through.
Yeah, so let's deal with that part of I don't trust women, because then that brings up the mother wound, right? Because a woman who has been unmothered, who has been with an unavailable mother, has been with the proverbial tough mama, big mama model. The time, this has also been coming up, and we're going to deal with it tonight in Rites of Passage. How many of you could finish this sentence where they say that women, Black women, raise their girls, and spoil
their sons?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tawasa, did you want to speak on that?
Sure. Like everyone has said, this is so layered. I'm just sitting here, so much is going through my mind. But to this question in particular, my Gobella, the woman that is um, midwifing me through this process began as my friend, and this the ask of this was for me to humble myself to her and not even see her as my friend anymore. And she's a mother, she's a friend, she's a teacher. Sometimes she's a taskmaster, depending on what I need to do or face within myself. Um, and but at the end of the day, ultimately, when I sit at my mat, it is, and I'm looking at my ancestors. I'm looking right at my altar right now, my Osamo, and it is filled with my big mama and my grandmother, who we called Mommy too,
Yeah.
and so many other women um, who didn't have the tools,
That's right.
many of whom got, you know, were pregnant very young, and, were just, I know today, I really know in my bones that they did the best they could with what they had, and many of the times that was next to nothing. That was next to no support. And I think about all of the support that I am given here, and believe it or not, 99.9% of the time, it's me and my Osamo. It's me and my ancestors. It's not, my Gobella is not here physically with me. It's literally a womb, and she's walking the walk with me, moment by moment, day by day, while she's in a space and I'm in another space. And it is just the most profound transformation, and I want to say healing, because it's let me have deep, quiet, alone time to think about my mother, who I've had a very difficult relationship with. And this time has given me the space for a healing to happen in me, that I don't know if it could have happened alone. I'm sorry, with in society, because I'm literally alone. And so being able to unplug from social media, unplug from the majority of, bills and all these expectations, and just get quiet and think about the women who reared me growing up, and the woman who's supporting me now. And even the women in the States who I know are praying for me. I feel it, I hear it,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that have been with me. It's been 9.5 months, and literally time that's enough, like I'm reborn. Um,
Yes.
so yes, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yes, I want to do a little translation for those of you who are listening, which what Tuasa is referring to, and those of you who just joined the show. She is in a process right now, cannot be on camera, and what she refers to as her Gobella is something in the Lukumi and in the Ifa tradition that's called a godmother, and I believe in the Akan tradition they call it same or Nana or yeah. So in African traditions or in any of the traditions, you are always escorted in through the one who is the mother. And so what we're talking about is the mother womb. And so when women, and the question was, why do we hide and why do we reject sister spaces? And I'm not talking about the pretend, the mean girl spaces, because I understand that another reason that we, I mean, some of us can talk about it. Those of you who are leading communities can understand this, um, that there are spaces that re-injure, right? The a woman who's been traumatized already, even unconsciously, by her mother womb, right? She's already carrying it, whether she knows it or knows it not. When she comes into a space, that's supposed to now be the surrogate family. And then she doesn't know that she has this issue. And then her issues get triggered in the space. This is the same thing that we call church hurt. This is the same thing that we do when we call the mean girl group. So I don't do empowerment brunches. I don't do sister groups. I don't do group processes. You know us, right? We talk in explanation points. But when you come into sacred traditions, and I understand that there are a lot of rogue millennial people who are self-ordaining, right? And it's a very dangerous thing because we have a model that has also worked. But oftentimes we don't hear about the models that work. We only hear about the ones that hurt. And so that can contribute to some of the women who run. And so when you're in a sacred process, you have a godmother that's guiding you. And I can tell you, whenever you go through one of these traditions, let me say this for those who are in a rush to you want to be a priest, you want to do all of this stuff, okay, that you see, you want to, because you think it's fancy. Okay. All right. You're asking for something, that you're asking for the healing that you ran from. You're asking for the answers, the dark night of the soul that you want to go get medicine for. You're asking for all of that before you can even integrate the medicine, carry the crown. And so, sorry, I get a little passionate about that, because I too was a runner. I too had a mother wound. I had to, you think you're going to meet all these spirits. No, you're going to meet yourself on when you run it, and to try to be anything other than that. I see so many pastors who want to be coaches now, coaches who want to be like all of these things are different spaces. And sometimes you open with this, Tanya, you talked about the titles, right? How you don't like the titles. And sometimes titles can be triggers because we haven't been treated well by authority. Now that is all the way in the post-traumatic slave response. When you study this on a psychological level, this is a psychological and cellular memory that we're talking about that gets triggered. So that's a good segue to talk about how sometimes we need other alternatives to heal, and also to clear spirits off of us before we get diagnosed as a mental health issue. And we taking prescription pills, or we can't sleep, and that type of thing. So that's a good segue for those of you to talk who've done plant medicine. I want to come back to you, Tuasa, because of your engineer and your experience with plant medicine. What are some of the testimonies you hear from people who have allowed themselves to experience, and you can choose the plant medicine?
So I will speak of my own experience. I'll start there. And that was, and it was psilocybin. I've worked with psilocybin as well as hape. And wow.
Yeah, I know, right?
So I came to understand. Okay, I'm going to tell you the essence of when I came out of that container and I woke up, or I came back to this realm, is the only way I can really say it. That seems right. What the information I brought back was that I can do anything on this planet that I want to do except die.
Ooh.
I have the freedom to do anything, have any experience I want, but the one thing that I can never do is die.
Oh my, okay, so these are my real people. So she kind of just pulled on my spirit. I'm just like, you ain't trying to make a sister do the wet eyes dance, because you all don't understand. My sister has gone through a round of several rounds of chemotherapy and radiation. She has a whole testimony, well, the context of what she just said, that her ancestors told her, or well, that the plant medicine, which is an ancestral experience.
Ancestors.
I feel that in my heart, sis.
Yes, they told me. So it was like, so I really don't worry about breast cancer. It can't come back to your breasts if you don't have them. But I'm just saying, I don't live looking over my shoulder. Is it going to come back? Is it going to, I don't have any concern, because I know that even if it did, and even if I release this physical body, dying is not an option as a spiritual being. So I can go on and live my life now.
Okay. I should have known inviting you was gonna shut down the whole show. But listen, some of us are specializing in being 3D far too much, so we don't have spaces to have 5D conversations, because people think you're crazy. People think something is wrong with you. And so now you trauma bonding with everybody on the job that's stressed out, that's being ordinary, getting into the blue and red game. Okay, anybody want to jump in here on your plant medicine experience? Did it help your mental health?
Mine did.
Okay, talk to us.
My first plant medicine experience was in 2021, and it was in a safe space with other women. And I made an intention. I actually spoke before I got to the event, and while I was there, and even spoken to that medicine to show me some things. I actually saw the mothership. It was at night. It was in Mississippi, and I believe the property was on the path of the Trail of Tears. And it was so much going on. I was like, woo! I can't even begin to explain to you. The stars had a geometric pattern, and they came together in circles, one circle around another circle, around another circle.
That's mama.
And then it came down on me. And all I could do was, I could be at one with it. Now the next day, that was euphoric. I saw images, I saw colors, I was just so.
How did it help your mental health, Tanya?
It helped. I'm a storyteller, so thank you for bringing me back. I gotta describe it. So it put me on another path, and it helped to help me to release a lot of the things that I had been carrying, and I can't even explain to you what they were. A lot came up. A whole lot of past issues, generational, and can I say it? Past life thing.
Yeah, you can say it. Of course, this is shit talk.
A lot of past life, and I couldn't reconcile what it was. I was told, and it scared the hell out of me. However, I got through it. So I'm still here. That's all I can say. I'm still here after the session, after the experience, and I sure would invite myself to have another experience with more like-minded people, and people who are shamans could walk me through that. I'm different layers of it that I'm purifying and I'm releasing. So I would recommend it in a very safe environment.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to it. I actually just looked into it. I have not done it yet, but I've just looked into it just this week, and I'm so looking forward to it. Yeah.
Well, anyone else? I can definitely tell you that it can clear years of things that you will go and sit down with a with a therapist, and they don't have the answers. But when you go and you commune with basically your own self, when you're traveling, it's allowing you to come out of the calcification of this 3D, this density of this world experience, to really see yourself beyond the veil. And so many of us are taking on so many labels when many of the people who are calling themselves neurodivergent, on the spectrum, all of these different labels, bipolar disorder, sometimes these things are spiritual attachments. And I'm not minimizing, don't get me wrong. We definitely, many of us still need therapy before you come into anybody's ceremony. Because some of y'all that's having bad experiences is because you never treated the trauma. And so you can't escape
Mhm.
through plant medicine for things that are heavy duty, like rape and molestation and incest. And sometimes you're carrying your bloodline things as well. So you need to have an escort who can recognize where you begin and where something else ends, or where you end and another thing begins, right? So that's the beauty of this, is that we've always had other ways to heal ourselves. So this will be a good time to talk about hormones, right, Sonia? Can you talk a little bit about our food, our diet, and how this can affect mental health? Because sometimes we also think that we're off a lot, and it's something going on with the body.
Oh my. I can only speak for myself and my own experiences. I became perimenopausal in my early 40s and was actually through a blood test to check my progesterone and estrogen levels at the age of 45 and 46 in menopause. And I'm saying to myself, what? Our mother, she had a hysterectomy, so she really didn't experience,
Right.
that change of entering menopause. I mean, she did. She went into a little bit of it. They did salvage or save her ovaries, but yes, when you don't have a balance in the full complement of hormones, that's testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, that affects us on the cell at the cellular level, and it affects our physical, our mental, and emotional. And we don't talk about that. I don't know. It's the fear and the shame and the judgment of speaking on something that it's real. Hot flashes and all, it's real. And it's okay. I am more than welcome. I'm still in search of finding solutions, natural solutions
Yeah.
to balance out my hormones. But yes, that is a real issue in
Yeah.
our community, with our women, specifically Black women, is going through the period of menopause.
Yeah. It
Hmm.
definitely. Anyone else want to speak to that? I know we can.
I was going to add really quickly one of the things that Sister Sonia just said about how this is a whole body experience. I think one of the things we are also taught are to separate. We chop everything up,
Oh man.
from being this way in the boardroom to the bedroom, to there is a full campaign of programming for disconnection of the body and the mind, and that what we are experiencing as our traumas, that our experiences are not affecting our bodies, that they are somehow separate from us, and that trauma rewires the brain, but it also does something to the body, and that we have to address this as a holistic issue versus can deal with the mind over here and then the body over here, but they are coexisting. Because what happened here, as soon as you get stressed, the heart starts to race. And so this is symbiotic. One thing affects the other. So we are not taught the connection of our mind body,
Hmm.
and so we function as though they are separate as well, and so we don't learn to cure in the same way.
Oh,
Can I say something? Can I jump in really fast? I wanted to go back, if I could, to when you mentioned about the midwives in the very beginning and tying this into this moment. I think it's very important for us to look at the conversation around intergenerational trauma. And as entrepreneurs, practitioners, that we seek to figure out a way to incorporate that awareness in our practice. So, what does that look like for me? For me, as a mental health therapist, I know I've been trained clinically, but I also been trained in the spirit, and I've experienced some things spiritually that pulls on me as a clinician. I cannot not bring that into the therapeutic space. I have to bring that. So when I'm working with women, it's not just the clinical work that I'm doing. I'll tell them I am a spiritual being. I see, I sense, I know, and I bring that because sometimes, to your point, it's not just the mental health, it's the lineage, it's spiritual, it's generational. It's us talking about that and even attacking that, bringing awareness somatically. So I do body up, I do body mind connection. That's the work that I do. I don't even do traditional therapy because traditional talk therapy for a lot of Black
Right.
women
That's
don't
right.
work. It does not work.
Mm-hmm.
Because the one thing that trauma does is it takes away our voice. And if there's been abuse, the very first thing that has to be reclaimed when you've suffered any trauma is your ability to speak up for yourself again, because the power has been taken from you. So
Yeah.
it's gaining the power again. So as a clinician, I'm not just stuck on the traditions of CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. I can't. That's not even a call that's on my life. I had to bring the spiritual component, this holistic
Right.
awareness into the therapy space so people can heal holistically.
Holistically.
So I
Absolutely.
wanted to bring that. So as a midwife, those of us that are practitioners, making sure that our space is conducive, that is safe, that is courageous, that is brave, that we do our training, that we do our studying beyond the clinical piece, because in white European medicine, we're not trained to even consider these things.
Yeah. I
Trained,
also would think that it's important to weave in the fact that you are an artist as well.
and I do.
And the arts, and so is Tanya and Sonia. And I actually think that probably many of us are ambidextrous when it comes to our being multi-purpose, right? Because I've been trained to be an intellect, but really everything about my spirit, my birth chart, my natal chart, everything is more of a creative. It's a humanitarian. And so we all get raised in these cookie cutter ways, right? And so um the art, let's talk a little bit about the arts in closing. I know we're going over a little, but it's a large panel, it's a special panel, and I don't want to leave too much on the table. But because the feminine arts is something that a lot of women have to choose, and just arts in general. But song and storytelling, as you all mentioned, is a part of the arts. And so we've gotten so far away from that when you talk about our voice. um Tanya, do you want to just talk a little bit about how they can use that voice as a the therapeutic way? And sure, we'll bounce it to anyone else who has had that experience.
So for me, anybody can sing, anybody can hum, anyone could use their voice to speak affirmative words of healing, of comfort. If you know scripture, you can use the scriptures to give voice to the voiceless. And it takes discipline and practice. I know for me, I wrote a little small book of affirmations as after my journey through breast cancer. And it was so therapeutic for me to even go through a process of writing, taking things from out of my mind, out of here, and putting them in front of me, and then using my voice, using the mind and the heart connection and the voice, from the heart chakra all the way up, and give voice to that. And it was just so powerful for me. I'm getting chills even thinking about it because it's so important. I don't care what it sounds like. I don't care what your level of professionalism with your voice. I don't care if you have no experience. You were given the authority from birth to use the voice correctly and to your advantage, because is energy. And for me, if I don't use my voice and if I don't do what is my heart is saying to do, if I deny that because I've been so conditioned to be the intellect, nothing wrong with that. But using both sides of the brain, I have to be creative. I got to get in the dirt. I got to ground myself. I got double air in my chart. You already know, Latanya.
Mhm.
You know, I have to do these things because if I don't, something could. I'm I'm a breast cancer survivor. I already made a pact. You know, Dwasa, we're not going through that again.
Mm-mm.
We're not going through that. So you have to do the things that resonate with that heart and giving the voice. You need to find out what your heart's desires are.
Come
And
on.
I tell you, it's a journey, but using your voice is so powerful and it's so healing.
Ashe.
Reverend Tanya, can I jump in here real
Yes,
quick?
please.
My spirit is like, woo. So in the tradition that I'm growing in is called Ugongoma, which is in South Africa. And so it's a Zulu tradition, and Ngoma itself means sound, means drum. So over here in South Africa, all of my training has to do sound like these drums. It's drums like, I mean, okay, I've heard djembe and bata and all the drums that they play over here. Oh my gosh. And so we know, I can't remember what, I think it's called where there's sound and then you see the water making different shapes. It's called cymatics or something like that.
Yes.
So they work with that because our bodies are so much water, right? So as these drums are playing, and then yoga for Ngoma does not look like it looks in the East.
Mhm.
It looks like rigorous dancing. It looks like moving across the floor on your knees and your feet so that you're stretching your, plantar fascia, and it's completely, you just immerse yourself, you get drowned in sound and
Yeah.
in drowned in the movement, the sweat and the gyrations and when an animal, whether it's a four-legged, two-legged, whatever, when it is under attack, what is it going to do? It's going to shake, right? It's going to twerk,
Yeah.
right? It's going to twerk and bring its nervous system to regulation. It's going to heal itself with movement, with rigorous movement, rigorous shaking, to the point that you lose your mind, meaning go in trance. And the deeper that you, or the more that you allow yourself to access that, the healing that I'm getting here through the music, through the songs, through it, and it looks just like the church I grew up in, Pentecostal church. It don't look no different. It's just more rigorous, and it's in the dirt, Um, so yeah, I wanted to just add that piece, the indigenous way of healing. There's no talking. There's nothing to talk about. Get into your body and cry and scream and moan and hum and sing and praise and let it out in whatever way that feels good and sometimes not so good
Yes.
to
Yes.
you to get it out.
Yes. That's a strong. That's some free game for anybody who's in a state of depression, or any. So far when we talk about the arts, that you can also do coloring and just getting into your own inner child. You can. There's learning how to even have a what we call a madama or a doll to represent that inner child. So it's so many things that you can do in the arts of that go with the science of our mental health. It doesn't have to be either or, right? It can be
Mhm.
both and, for those of you who've been taught the either or way. Those who have judged yourself, who've been sinned to death and stoned yourself before you ever get started. So what I want to do is invite us to, because it is so many of us, I want to be able to, for you just to talk to the sister, not as in your title and expert. We got who you are. We got the brands that you that you are, right? You didn't lead with that either, but if you've been her, if you could talk to her, the one that it may be suffering in silence and not asking for help, and you know isn't showing up, is all the things that we just described, because there's so much happening right now, y'all. From the I went through the astrology, but then there's the political climate that's affecting us, but we haven't even talked about the solar flares. We haven't talked about all of the DNA upgrades that we are undergoing, and it's easily for spiritual awakening to mimic unwellness, whether it be your body or your spirit or your emotions. And sometimes when things aren't normal, we go to what's wrong instead of what's right. What if some of you are being upgraded? What if you're trying to hold on and fight for your limitations, but the Holy Spirit is sending you solar flares and eclipses and retrogrades and the falling of institutions that have oppressed you and killed your sons and done all of these things that we prayed for change and we've labored, and aren't you tired? Don't you want to get off the cross? Aren't you tired, Black woman, of going on the cross like that's your natural space to be? Can you be joyful in chaos? Can you not have to join in with the crowd and stand alone in your joy? I just want to know, is it anybody that's willing to stand like that? And I'm talking to the ones who have the spiritual attachments, the ones who are playing small. I'm talking to the reluctant leaders, the ones who have people around you that won't call you forward because you're performing and you're meeting their needs. I'm talking to you strong because you are the strong friend that everybody goes to. I'll let the rest of them stroke you and coddle you, but I'm calling you forward at least to show up. There are some women out here letting their men kick their ass. Okay? This is serious. This is why I'm talking like this. There are women who have tools who are being abused because they want a family in some kind of way. We hadn't even talked about the friend that checks out when she gets a man. She don't show up with her friends. Or Sensei Sabir, you could talk about the other side.
Mhm.
Because if I don't
Mhm.
know, I can't speak for the other side of it. But what
It's
about
the same.
it's the same? You get a partner and you check
Mhm.
out. You don't need your friends right then. And then you're
Mhm.
embarrassed when it doesn't work out or when you're getting your ass kicked and you don't want anybody to know because your mother condemns you, your family condemns you, and you attract. Do you understand? Are we talking for real in here today? Because these
Mm.
women call in duress.
Yes.
So the women
Mm.
who we find out later and our hearts are broken because our friend is gone for 2 years and she's over there suffering.
Mm.
Or you're the woman who's leading the household, you're paying all the bills, and you definitely don't want anybody to know that your husband earns less than you. Can we talk about this, the real shit?
Mm. Mm.
Because I didn't
Mm.
come on here to do play.
Mm.
It's in this time. It's time for you mothers and aunties to get off the fence because you have young girls who are raising girls, and they need to know that they're not going to be caught, that they can come and trust you with their vulnerability.
Mm. Mhm. Mhm.
They don't know how to be wives. So they stop at mother. You all are cosmic beings on the panel. But there are so many of you all who run. You run and you don't even know what it is for a woman to mother you. You don't even know. I didn't know. I didn't know. Because the first, I remember when I would get phone calls from godmother, big mama, this mama, and I was like, why is she all in my business? Ouch, amen. Somebody in the comments.
Depending on the day, it's both.
Yes. It
So
is
let me
both.
hush. Let me hush. I'm passionate
Mhm.
about this, y'all, because I feel like we're in a state of crisis when it comes to Black women, because she is the mother of civilization, and she thinks that she's inferior to her own children. But anywho, we can keep going.
I could say this real quick in that one of the things that I've learned is sometimes what looks like mental illness for me, let me just own my stuff, was actually the spiritual calling. And over here we call it ubizu. And so, breast cancer for me, my understanding of it was a culmination of a lot of rage turned inward that I had no way to release. And I am a second degree black belt martial artist.
Another
And I
art.
still, exactly. And I went into one where I could go and legally kick some ass and throw men around and it'd be okay. And I still had so much rage in me that I manifested stage 3 breast cancer.
Ooh.
But what I know today is that was also a calling, and the illness, it made everything fall apart in my life. My mental, everything fell apart. And then God could reach me. So when sometimes, I'm not saying all the time, and I'm not saying for everybody, my experience for me and for many people that I have talked to that are on a spiritual path, and I'm going to speak specifically for Sangomas because that's what I know intimately, is that mental illness, physical illness, finances falling apart is sometimes actually your calling saying, okay, we're taking it all. Will you go to your knees and allow us to cleanse you and elevate you?
Ooh, yes, Lord.
You're not sick. What if you're actually not sick when it all falls down?
Oh my God. Woo.
Again, it takes looking at it from a different hemisphere, maybe, to get a different understanding of mental illness and physical illness. And I've come to know that those are the things that are raising me up.
Ashe. Pass the mic.
I was gonna hop in because the ouch and the amen for me, right? That two things can be true, that we can be healers and still need help, that we can be in the midst of the storm and still need our sisters. We can still go outside and talk about our experiences with expertise and still have spaces we are in breakdown. And that's why this is important, right? That we don't like to live in the dichotomy. We like absolutes, and absolutes eliminate so many other possibilities because we've taught to be within one kind of truth, and only this thing can be true, and that multiple things can't. I want it all to break open. When you were talking about the breaking, I was thinking about that Japanese art of kintsugi, where they pave, when something is broken, they put it back together with gold, better,
Ooh.
with gold, that we weave it back together. It broke, but it came back together with beauty, with, and that it can still have function even higher than what it was and better than what it was before. But breaking it open gives the thing that's dark some light so that we can see what needs the help, right? And so this both and conversation is that you can have, we all do, And I think that's part of the problem too, is that people position folks who are in the public or forward facing in this untouchable space. And
Mm,
that's not the case. The
mm-hmm,
work we do is walking with you, right? You are
mm-hmm,
not beneath us. That white walls clinical environment that we are taught about healing and psychology is
mm-hmm,
talking at you and down to you rather than walking with you in the journey. We've learned to use the voice, the vibration. NLP deals with frequency, that neuro linguistic programming. So when we're talking about voice and singing, that that reverberating in your body is changing the pain. It is breaking up the things inside. And so
mm,
when we're talking about opening our mouths, just screaming. I remember one of the Fix My Lives, it's all the time, Mama Ia would open, just let it out. It doesn't matter what it sounds like. Get out of your head, drop down beneath your thought process and get into your heart space. What does it feel like? Because I'm more concerned about what my life feels like than what it looks like. And when we shift
ooh,
out of that space
mm,
and disabuse ourselves of the perception of what our life looks like and
mm.
get what it is feeling like every day in our bodies that we inhabit every single day, we will live more free, more full, more healthy.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. And we pass to the next sister.
What is there to say after all of that? I'm just over here like, good God. Lord have mercy. I can
LaTanya started it. She was on fire. And she passed the torch.
listen. I just want to get up and holler and scream. But I want to say this to the woman who's struggling with her identity and accepting herself as she is. I want to encourage you to take a risk and do something that you've never done before. You taken and put yourself out there for everybody else, sis. You've done it time and time and time again. I want to encourage you to do the thing for yourself that you've never done before and not to think about it, because not only are you worthy of it, but God has called you to it. God has called you to it. So will you answer the call?
Ooh, yes. We'll pass to the next sister.
Is that me?
Maybe. Would you like to
Man,
recommend somebody?
look, I was having technical difficulties on my end, so and I couldn't hear, but I'm back on. Man, I tell you, Latanya, you said a mouthful and some. And what I'd like to say to that woman is bet on yourself. Take the risk. We are so afraid to take risks. Take the risk. Bet on you, and you'll be successful. Just and center yourself. Center yourself and just be. Rest.
Ashe. Oh, that's enough, right? Just to rest. Rest is revolution. Shout out to the Nap Ministry. The
Yes,
Nap
Lord.
Ministry is our sister
Yes.
God.
with the message.
Yes.
Rest is revolution. You
Yes,
can
it
be
Yes.
still and know that I am God, right? By the way,
Yes.
I want to listen, but can I take a few more minutes in the comments? Can I want to show y'all something? If I don't mess, no, I'm not gonna speak that over my life. I want to show this to y'all. I want to close on this, right? I want to show you this. I want to show you this. It says you have no slides. I want to present this because this is something that I found that I wanted to open up with. Can you all see it? Can you
No,
see?
I see you.
Not yet. Just, still everybody.
Okay. All right. Let me see if there we go. There we go, y'all. Listen, I want you to see this and hopefully hear this. The Black woman is God, because this is one of the things that Can you hear?
Yes.
Exhale out. Again, deep breath in.
And then we just had this dialogue. What will it be? What will we talk about? What will we have on the walls that will be a subliminal message that sticks with you, right? So we had a conversation outside, and it became the Black woman is God, and here you are.
And I also want us to be able to challenge some of the ideas about who we are as Black women, both in our communities and outside of our communities.
And so we seal this knowing that it is already done, knowing that there is no way that all of these women could not gather in this room and there not be ripples that will be felt throughout the Bay Area, throughout this country, throughout the world. Our sisters all around the world are feeling our presence right now. They don't even know. And that we are standing up because we are heeding a call that came deep within our wombs. Each and every one of us was called forward, and we looked up and we found each other, and we will continue to find our sisters and our brothers all throughout the world, knowing that we are the ones we've been waiting for.
So that's an awesome way to close and just open that space for us to be okay with that we are. That is our identity. And we dance around it and we play with it. And some of us are just so afraid to stand in the godness and the goddess of ourselves, the holy I am. And so I just close with just with this. I want us to just close as though we were in a room together and speak the names of those women whose shoulders that we stand on, whether they are in our bloodline or those who have inspired us that are on the other side, because this is what is going to strengthen some of us. And you can drop those names in the comments. Yes, holy I am. So I want, of course, I bring into this space, into this circle, Josie B. Taylor, who is known as Gold. I bring Priscilla Noble Nash, and I want you all to bring your grandmothers and those women whose shoulders we stand on. Mama Helen Jones, I bring into this space. Dr. Ava Muhammad, I bring into this space. Yes.
Georgia King,
Hancock Rollins,
Ashe, oh, Ashe,
Henrietta Moore,
Ashe, Ashe. Keep going.
Really just
Margie Noel Butler,
Ashe. Mother Tynetta Muhammad, Ashe. Keep going. If there's more, you can put them in the comments for those of you. Keep going. There are women who have
Francis Gallagher Shea,
Ashe, Ashe, Ashe,
Gloria Thompson,
Ashe,
Dolores Anderson,
Yaden Swan,
Ashe, Harriet Tubman, Ashe. And all of the unknowns that whose names we have not known. I want to even call forth the energy of the Sibyls, the ones of those mothers, those sacred and ancient mothers. I want to call forth the energy of Mami Wata, the energies of Oya as she moves over the ocean right now, that she will be a shield and a protection over our homes. Call forth the energy of the medicine men and women whose names that have been forgotten, but they live in our Akashic record. I call forth the energy of all of the celestial beings that are helpers that came to assist us and those sisters under the sound of my voice. And I see my sisters dropping into the comments. Evelyn Prather, Agnes Brown, Ashe. Mami Wata, Ashe. We have another Mama Helen, Ashe. Yes, Kalima. Oh yeah, she's here. Oh yeah, Ashe, Ashe. Yes, Iris Law Primer. Let's see, Raffliff. Okay, Donna Washington. Annie Moore. Come on, that's how you do them. Call them in. Yes, Christian. Yes, yes, yes. Sweet
Yeah.
Ocean. Okay, because there's a fierce Ocean.
Yeah.
He's moving. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah. Oh yes. I
Adore.
just I just posted about her.
Ashe,
Ezra
Ashe,
Julie.
Ashe.
So we are, yes, all of my Marys and our Marys and Mary Magdalene's and Deborah's
Tacos,
and the
tacos,
King women,
tacos,
women who were,
tacos,
oh, Ashe, Ashe, Ashe,
tacos.
Ashe. So, and Osset and Yemoyah and all of them, we call them forth. And so thank you for those who have been under the sound of our voice. So now guess what? You got to pass it on. If you stayed and watched the whole thing, go share this out, tag a sister, check on your strong friend. Like, we're not just saying that to be trendy. Pick up the phone and call somebody that you have not seen in a while. Somebody who did it for you. Do it for them. Somebody who you think already has a team around them. Somebody you think has the microphone and the spotlight. Check on them and just let them know that you love them. Just stop competing. Stop comparing. Just show up and say, sister, I see you. I love you. I want you to know that. And so we plant that seed right here in this energy today so that we can be well and that we can know that some of the symptoms that we are experiencing are us waking up, coming online, and getting off of the fence. I pray that you will
Tacos.
receive all of this. I love you. There's nothing you can do about it. I want to thank you all. You all don't have to go anywhere. I'll see you all on the other side. Ciao, everyone.
Ashe.
And you can get with everybody on their sites, on Instagram, and all of that good stuff, right? Okay.